Good evening and welcome into the Mafia Cast, brought to the fans by the fans, and this is your one-stop shop for all things Bills every single week. Now here are your hosts, Mike Yanni, Ronnie Eastham, and Casey Ceda.
Good evening, Bills Mafia. Welcome to the Mafia Cast. We are back. It is a great Thursday evening. We've got some fantastic news. Victory week. It is good to be a Bills fan right now. Casey, how are you doing?
I'm curious as to what this news is you're talking about.
Maybe you've heard. I don't know. So some guy named Amari Cooper.
Oh, I thought you actually had like legitimate news.
I mean, it's pretty legitimate news, is it not?
My bad.
That's okay. That's okay. Casey's a little slow sometimes, but we still love him.
It's a long day.
Yeah. Well, how are you doing? Having a good week?
Yeah, not bad. Getting over the stealing from myself. I probably could have arrested myself for like grand larceny. Although, if you live in California, if you steal under $900, like nothing happened. So I don't know, but good. I mean, we beat the Jets. I was worried. It's always a worrisome game when the Bills play the Jets in New Jersey. For some reason, we always struggle. I mean, Josh always struggles against the Jets. They had that new coach bump, and I definitely think you saw that play a factor. That team was a much different team than I personally saw the first 5 weeks. They looked rejuvenated. They really did look like they had a shot of life. They did a lot of different things that they didn't do in the first 5 weeks. So I'm just glad we came out with a win. 4-2 at this point in time is a lot better than the 3-3.
Yeah.
And we're a game down. We could have been a game down in the division. Now we have a 2-game lead over 2 teams. So that's with the tiebreakers. So
already 2-0, yeah, in the division play. I was thinking earlier today. So I was working on some articles, and I was kind of scrolling through Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and I was searching through some of the Sean McDermott quotes. And unfortunately, I saw a ton of McDermott hate. When you search his name, that's a lot of what you get. And I understand why fans feel the way they do, but a lot of the ones that I noticed were things like, oh, leave it to McDermott to blow it at the end of the game, talking about the previous game against the Texans and stuff like that. And so I started thinking, like, wait a minute. The Bills just won a game in the last waning moments of Monday night's game. The defense held, got the turn. Not a peep about any praise towards McDermott, though. So I guess I kind of go back and forth on the whole Sean McDermott situation. I don't want him gone. I really don't. I understand where the fans are coming from as far as getting frustrated with some of the decisions. But holy crap, can we just move on? And it's not going to happen this season. It may never happen. So I just thought it was kind of interesting. When things are going well, nobody wants to give any praise to McDermott. But when things don't go well, it's all his fault.
Well, they're not going to. I've heard this take a million times, and I think it's absolutely correct. They're not going to get rid of him before the new stadium's ready. So, he'll be here through next year. And then if, it's just some of the same old same, then I could definitely see them going into a new stadium with a new shiny head coach, probably an offensive-minded young guy to pair with Josh. And I'd bet you that our first draft picks would be on the offensive side of the ball. I could almost guarantee.
Yeah.
I think the reason why you didn't hear much like praise for Sean McDermott for this game is because these refs ruined this game. You didn't know You didn't know who was going to win because you didn't know when a flag was going to fly on who and where and for what. Because it was every single play. Every play. I mean, I was listening to Bruce Nolan's show, and he said that on basically 20% of that game was like had a flag, like a part of it. Like what are you supposed to do from that? He's like, I can't learn anything from that game. He's like, there were so many different variables. He's like, we really didn't know. Neither team really got in a rhythm. I mean, you saw when the Bills did, we started putting up points, and so did the Jets. But then all of a sudden, a drive would be stalled by, 3 flags in a row that were half of them would be ghost penalties and half of them would be penalties that had nothing to do with the play. So I think this game, I think Bruce is very right with this take, in that like there's not much you can take. I can personally take from this game because it was such a shit show. It really was. Like it was so
hard
confusing.
to watch.
It was hard to watch, and I bet you it was hard to play in. Because all of a sudden these flags start flying, and now that it's in your head, and now you start thinking about it, and and you're being more self-conscious, being careful, and then your mind slips, and you make that's when an accident happens, and you miss a block or miss a tackle or something. You miss an assignment.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was difficult to watch. I did my takeaways on the game shortly after, and then one of the things that I do each week is I go back and I look at the Pro Football Focus offensive line rankings that they do every single week after all the games are played. If you don't know, Buffalo has, for the most of the season, been top 5. As of right now, they've dropped to number 6. They didn't mention in their write-up Spencer Brown, but in writing my article, I went back and I looked at this. The Bills' front line, all 5 starters, have been penalized a total of 16 times. 9 of those, Spencer Brown.
Ouch. It's all about all I got. Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, last year
he was all pro caliber last year.
Yeah.
I mean, like it was hard to expect that from him again every year. I mean, they paid him, but they didn't pay him like he was the top 3 at his position. They extended him at an honorable price for both sides, and that's why he stayed. And yeah, he's going to have penalties, but he's also a mauler, and we also see some of these penalties aren't penalties. I remember when I played football 15 years ago, that block he had was called a pancake. There was even a stat for it on Madden.
Yeah.
We got honored if you got a pancake. College teams and pro teams used to give out literal pancakes as a reward for a block like that. And now it's a penalty.
Yeah.
Like, so what? Like, what do you want from the freaking guy?
Yeah, I agree with you, but at the same time, it has been frustrating. One of my girls, when we're watching the Bills games, she's out of state right now, but she messages during the games, and she cannot stand Spencer Brown. She's like, she'll text me like, "Oh, look, there's another flag on the field. I bet it's something on Spencer Brown. False start, Spencer Brown." He needs to fix that. I think he can be, obviously a good right tackle. He's being paid as such now.
He is a good right tackle.
That's he's got to clean up those penalties. That's killing the offensive drives.
Yeah, I mean, and Osiris, he needs to play better. He definitely hasn't played as well this year as he did his rookie year. At least in the beginning, he was off to such a hot start. David Edwards still hasn't won me over yet. He is not consistent at all. McGovern, it's kind of just a wash. I don't think we've lost too much between he and Morris, but I would still love to see Van Pran Granger in there with McGovern back at guard.
I would actually go out on a limb and say it's better at center with McGovern. I felt like there was times with Mitch Morris when he would be overpowered. He's not a big offensive lineman. Power was not his thing. McGovern has not given up any sacks, has not given up any QB hits. I believe 10 pressures, 11 pressures total on the season. He's playing extremely well. I would, based on what I've seen so far, I would say it's an upgrade. David Edwards, kind of a wash, really. I don't think he's been terrible, but he hasn't been, particularly impressive either. But all in all, the offensive line has played pretty well. I still stand behind the fact that a lot of times Josh Allen leaves the pocket too early. And it's funny. I was literally talking about that yesterday with my family, and then we've got the game on, the pregame on, and Peyton Manning says the exact same thing. It's gratifying when a Hall of Famer like
why
Peyton
aren't
Manning
you in
agrees
the
with you.
NFL? Why don't you have Super Bowl rings?
Me?
Yeah, Mister. I'm right with a Hall of Famer.
Well, that doesn't mean I'm a good football player. It just means all I'm saying is it's a known fact. Greg Cosell's mentioned it. Manning obviously saying it now. I don't know if it's because he doesn't trust the offensive line.
I think it's
enough.
just scar. I think it's just scars from the past when he did have to leave the pocket
Which would
so
be
quick.
trust issues.
Yeah, well, it's trust issues, and it is on him, and it's not. It has nothing to do with the guys that are currently there. It has to do with his first 3 years. The dude was running for his life. I mean, at one point we had Chris Quancho blocking for the guy. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know. I'm not here to bash on Allen. He had a terrific game on Monday. 3 more touchdowns. I believe he's second in the league. I'm not sure. I know Baker Mayfield is at 15 passing touchdowns. He might have some rushing touchdowns, but I didn't look. He's talking about Allen, number 1 in the league in QBR, I believe 79.3 or something like that. He obviously fewest interceptions in the league. I don't know if you saw this or not, but ESPN, one of their writers, came out with their 2024 MVP watch list. Allen was number 5 on that list, which, fine, whatever. But guess who number 2 was? Guess who number 2 was, though?
Yeah, it's Mahomes.
Yeah, which is the most asinine thing I've ever seen.
It's a team award. It's the best player on the best team. And that's what it is. I don't understand why people are confused about who's going to win the MVP anymore. Like I don't. Seriously, last year proved it. The best player on the best team. Usually, the best teams have one of the best quarterbacks. It's whoever gets hot. Last year, Lamar's team got hot, and Lamar puts up the same stats as Tyrod Taylor, and then all of a sudden, like, he's MVP, but it's because he had the best team. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is, I guess, right? The Mahomes bias is a thing. The write-up on that was just ridiculous. He was basically praising Mahomes for having a bad year, yet willing his team to a 5-0 record. That team is 5-0 because of the defense.
This team's 5-0 because Isaiah Likely's toe was out of bounds, because the team after them couldn't close out the game. It's a least impressive 5-0 team. But let's talk about the newest Bill.
Let's do that.
Senior Amari Cooper. That dude, I mean, do you have him on fantasy in any of your teams this year?
No, I do not.
My wife does. I do. He's been very disappointing.
Yes.
And, I watch Red Zone. If the Bills aren't on, I watch Red Zone. And I've seen so many plays where he has dropped the ball. And I'm like, all right, something's going on. He looked uninterested in being in Cleveland. Like he really did. Like I know, but that's the whole thing. Like, I watched it. Like, it's just straight up, like, he would half-ass, like, trying to catch the ball. But like, if he did catch it, I mean, I watched him take a 20-yard crossing route, 80 yards for a touchdown, called back on a ghost holding penalty. Like, he saw so much juice, and he is so good still. But he's 30. How much longer is it going to last is the question. I think they're going to let this year play out, and they're going to let him test the market while offering him a semi-sweet deal to stay if he plays well. But that's the joy of this whole move. It can be a rental. and they still get the 3rd round pick back as a comp pick. So it's basically a free move for the Bills. They basically traded a 7th round pick for a 6th round pick in the rental of Amari Cooper this year. So this is one of the smartest moves that Brandon Beane could have done.
I do like the move a lot.
And talk about real quick, take your victory lap, Paparon. I'm surprised you're not shirtless twirling that thing around your head right now, buddy. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't actually.
The correlating move.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's. We got to hear from Game On Sports, our sponsors over there. Hear what John's got going on.
Hey, this is John from Game On Video Games and Sports Memorabilia. We are Rochester's premier trading card store. We have a wide selection of trading cards, autographs, and memorabilia. We also do autograph and celebrity appearances in the store. So if you're looking for the perfect gift for yourself, relative that doesn't like the Bills, or for a friend, come down and check us out at our Rochester location, 2670 Dewey Avenue, or our Hamburg location at 1 Buffalo Street. Go Bills.
I mean, look, I already tooted my horn once this evening about being right about Josh Allen, tendency to leave the pocket early. I didn't feel like I needed to continue to rub it in that once again I was right. But since you brought it up, I'm so thankful that Marquez Valdes-Scantling is gone. He might end up on the practice squad, but he is not on the 53.
He'll either be on our practice squad or the Chiefs active roster. There's no doubt in my mind.
I did see somebody posted.
Or about the Jets thing.
There it is.
Yes. That would be freaking awesome.
Lazard,
and go get Randall
Davante Adams
out of retirement. Screw
Oh,
it.
the
Call
Jets.
Jordy. Call Jordy.
The Jets make me laugh. I love
Dude's
the
40
Jets
years
and the
old.
Dolphins.
Call Jordy
Yeah.
Nelson.
Oh, yeah. All right. Amari Cooper. A couple of comments in here. Number one, let's just hit up this one because I think this is hilarious and probably very true. Mike says, I read that he was relieved to see Cleveland disappear behind him as he drove off to Buffalo. Davante Adams, I'm sure, was thinking the same thing as his flight was going.
But that's the Davante thing's got to hurt a little bit more because he wanted to go play for his hometown team. So it's like.
And his brother.
Right. And it's like, damn, like this is how
Yeah.
it went. Like that sucks.
Well, people talk about concerns with this coaching staff in Buffalo wasting Josh Allen's prime years right now and wasting his career, which that's a bunch of baloney anyways. But think about how Davante Adams feels. Like you were just saying, he only went to Las Vegas to play with his brother and Derek Carr, his hometown. They moved to Vegas. They ship his car off, and they bring in the mustache.
They're bringing nothing. They're bringing nothing.
Yeah, and now poor Max Crosby sits over there in Las Vegas all alone.
Did you notice that his hamstring's back to full health?
I did. Oh, yeah.
That's incredible.
Miraculously.
That's incredible.
Yeah. All right. Enough of Adams. So Amari Cooper. There's another comment in here. I do like this one a lot. I mentioned this in one of my writings. Kincaid will probably benefit most from Amari Cooper's addition. I
disagree.
Well, I think what it does is it helps open things up underneath for Shakir and Kincaid.
Yeah, I think it's going to be most beneficial for Keon Coleman. I think now we're going to see Keon Coleman. I mean, because now they're going to worry about Amari Cooper, Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Shakir, and now Keon Coleman, who's a freak. He can, you can line him up anywhere, and he's going to get the fourth coverage guy, more often than not, third, fourth. I'll take that matchup all day long.
Yeah. Maybe because you got Shakir, Cooper, Kincaid, probably your top three. Throw James Cook in there.
Exactly.
Speaking of James Cook, I did see that he was a full participant in practice today. Unfortunately, Ray Davis looked like he might be nursing an injury. based on what you saw from Ray Davis, how do you feel about that running back room at this point and going forward?
I'm. It just solidified what I thought about it going into the year, that it was solid, that it was fine. That if they did bring in a fourth back, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be. I really wouldn't be surprised. I understand Ty Johnson's been in the league for a while, but still, somebody that's true. Like if you need a singular yard, I thought they would bring Murray back, but shit, Ray Davis can definitely do that for you. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. I'm very happy, and
Yeah,
I think I'm going to be right in that it did that. He and Cook started the cycle. Well, Cook and Singletary and Moss started the cycle. They're just going to start like recycling running backs. They're going to start going second, third rounds every 2 years. Every 2-3 years, and they're just going to keep it. That position cheap, and just hope they keep hitting.
yeah, and I think a lot of teams are probably going that direction. Most already have. There has been some conversation this year about kind of the marquee running back coming back in vogue, if you will. But I think there's some teams that will stick with what they're doing, and I think the Bills are one of those. I mentioned to you and Mike in our text group the other day that one of the things that Ray Davis, I'm not necessarily comparing him to a Hall of Famer because he's obviously not, but he reminds me of Thurman Thomas and just the way he runs, decisive. But even more than that, his ability in the passing game, we haven't seen that since Thurman Thomas.
I'd put Fred Jackson right up there.
Jackson.
He
Yeah,
was a phenomenal pass catching running back.
but he was also built a little differently than what we see with Thomas and Davis. He was a
he was
bigger guy, more powerful.
But he was still shifty. He could still get around. But he was pass catching. Yeah, I mean Ray Davis, Fred Jackson, Thurman Thomas. After one game, look at us go. We are Bills fans.
I don't think James Cook makes that catch, honestly. Ray Davis.
I just necessarily don't think Ray Davis James Cook just puts himself in the position to get that catch, to be honest. He probably ends up somewhere else on the field. Seriously. I mean, it's just who knows? Who knows what would have happened? Maybe he cuts underneath and somebody else goes up. Who bleeping knows?
Yeah.
But Amari Cooper, I'm pumped. I mean, Mike and I are going to the game this weekend, get to see his first game. I don't care what anybody says. He's going to be active. He'll be out there for 20, 25 max snaps. They'll get him out there in situations. I guarantee you when they hit the red zone, he'll be on the field. I can't wait to see him, Shakir, Coleman, and Kincaid on the field in the red zone. That's a very good lineup to have with James Cook or Ray Davis or Ty Johnson in the backfield. That's very formidable against a Titans defense that is struggling kind of right now. I mean, I understand they're good on paper. They bring a lot of blitzes, especially on third down. They do have L'Jarius Sneed, but from what I saw today, he was not at practice. He was not participating at practice to the open part of the media. So if they're missing L'Jarius Sneed, that is monstrous. You're muted.
My dog is barking, so I had to mute it. Yeah, if he's out, that is big because who's going to cover who at that point? So, I think that's a big one. You mentioned Tennessee's defense, and I was trying to find it. I did a piece earlier today on them, and the analytics have them. I want to say it was number one in maybe DVOA. I think it was defensive DVOA. But so they're good. But you're right. If they're without L'Jarius Sneed, that's going to be big.
Yeah, I mean, Jeffrey Simmons. I haven't seen too much Titans this year. I mean, but he's always been a problem. I mean, he's one of the best one techs in the league. He's absolutely phenomenal. But then, like on the offensive side of the ball, they have Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins, and then Will Levis throwing the football. I mean, he's their wild card. I mean, they could easily have 2 more wins on the season if it truly and directly wasn't for the plays that he made at the end of those games to lose those football games. Like he single-handedly handed the wins away. He's athletic. He's gonna try to take shots downfield. They have Calvin Ridley, like I mentioned. I mean, he's a great deep ball receiver. Just a good receiver overall, in my opinion. But he's very frustrated. Very frustrated. I don't know if you heard him after this last game in his interview, but he's like, the guy was like, "You got 8 targets." And he's like, "Wait, I got 8 targets?" That's how bad the throws have been from Will Levis, is that he didn't know the ball had been thrown to him 8 times. So that's just that, to compare that to something for the Bills. Amari Cooper has only caught, only 45% of the throws thrown to Amari Cooper this year have been deemed uncatchable. So he's only been given a chance to catch 55% of the throws that have even been thrown his way. That's how bad Deshaun Watson's been this year. So, I understand where Calvin Ridley's from, and that's why, you don't always chase the bag, man. Like, I understand, you don't know what you have in a quarterback until you got weapons around him, and DeAndre Hopkins, is he a superstar still? No. But is he still a good, decent number 2 receiver who's a good possession guy? Yeah, absolutely. He's still very cerebral. He'll find the open spots, and he can still bust off a big play here and there. And then they have supposedly the complementary to that with Calvin Ridley, who can stretch the field and get open across field. And Chigakonkwo, they've got Tony Pollard at running back. He's played well this year. Their offensive line has done well in the run game, but in the pass game, you compare their struggles with Will Levis's wild mind and thinking he's Josh Allen, and it struggled in that sense. So I'm very excited that this is the game that my uncle bought us tickets for. Shout out,
you guys are fun with
thanks.
That. Yeah. I had a thought, and that was, Will Levis. Will Levis is the only quarterback in the league that has more interceptions than Patrick Mahomes. I just had to throw that in there.
So petty.
Gotta throw that in there. Gotta do it. No, he's got 7 interceptions on the year. He is
and 5 fumbles or something like that.
Yeah. But then you just never know.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm excited to go to this game because we should win. Kind of handily. But next thing you know, Will Levis pulls the ball out of his ass and rolls it in a jar of mustard. Mayonnaise, not mustard.
Why is he rolling the football in mayonnaise? Oh, the commercial.
Know about him and mayonnaise. I was going to say him drinking coffee with mayonnaise.
You're talking about him rolling it in mayonnaise, pulling it out of his ass. I don't know what the heck is happening right now.
Because that's what he's got to do to win a football game. And somehow, because we're Bills fans, it could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Mike, he's gonna look like a wannabe Pinto run. If you're a Bills fan, you know what that is, or who that is. Let's get to our score predictions. You want to?
Let's do it.
Yeah, because that went completely off the rails, so we're just gonna redirect it.
That's my bad.
Okay. We need to get our good little buddy here, Mike, in here so we can.
Our good little buddy. I'm forever calling Mike my good little buddy.
Good little buddy. Good little buddy. If I can get him on here. Little buddy, why are you not? Here we go.
Mike.
Hold on. I got him. Bam! There he is.
Bam! The little buddy's back. Say
oh, man.
Little buddy.
You're my little buddy. All right, little buddy. Let's start with you.
God.
All right.
This is your fault, Casey.
I know.
31-10, Bills.
Ooh.
All right. What do you
Go
got,
ahead,
Casey?
Ronnie. No,
All
go
right,
ahead,
all right.
Ronnie.
I'll go. I'm going to throw it out there. Mari Cooper gets a touchdown. That's my bold prediction. And I'm going to go with, man, we got our defense back. Maybe aside from Milano,
And
I'll say
Miller, and maybe not at Oliver.
Oliver, I think he'll be back. That's my opinion. But anyways, I'm going to go 34-13, Buffalo.
Well, I've got a score prediction from a Tennessee Titans fan, and it is 38-6 Bills. That's how confident Titans fans are now in their
Is
team.
that yours?
Will Levis. No, that is not mine. I'm just sharing that from a Titans fan. And I don't know if everybody remembers, but the bet with an old friend of mine still stands. Loser of this game has to change their profile picture to the winning team's logo until they jump in the nearest body of water with it recorded and explaining why. So that is on the line for me this weekend. My score prediction is 30-13 Buffalo.
30-13. All right, I love it.
Maybe
Yeah.
we can
Bold
find that
prediction.
video. Can we share that
Keon
video and find
Coleman.
it, if it's not you?
Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, and James Cook all score touchdowns with James Cook scoring 2 of them. That's my bold prediction.
That's pretty
Two for James Cook.
specific.
Yep.
All right, what were you saying, Mike?
The video. We got to find that video. If it's not you, we got to share it.
I'll
We gotta
get
see
it.
Find
I'll
it.
get it. I promise
Oh.
I'll get it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to think of a bold prediction. I want to say Amari's going to get in the end zone, but that's kind of crazy.
Well, I already
Hey,
said
that was
that.
Ronnie's.
Yeah. Right, but so I was I'm on the fence with that. I don't know, like 3 turnovers for the Bills defense.
Okay, I'll take it.
I like
Take
that. That's probably the most realistic. That's still the most realistic.
Yeah.
True.
Not too bold, or I don't know.
I mean, Buffalo is one of the top teams in turnovers and turnover differential. I think they're ranked number 3 in turnover differential average, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
We're gonna get on out of here though. My dog will not shut up, so I apologize if people can hear him. And
He's a good boy.
yeah, he is. He's good like my little buddy.
Oh my God! Someone get the mayonnaise.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. We'll see you all on Monday after another Bills victory. Go Bills!
Go Bills.
Go Bills! Tell your friends.
All right, fellas.